so fast. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Collector's Vault. My name is Mike. Hope you enjoyed my Sonic impersonation, because today we're going to be talking about the Blue Hedgehog. Had a long day at work, but to my delight surprise, while I was at work, I got a little notification saying that the new Sonic the Hedgehog design was officially announced and revealed, along with a new trailer. And I have to be honest, like the majority of the fan base, at least I think majority of the fan base have the same response. We're all pretty happy with the way it turned out. I definitely think that they did a great job with Sonic's his redesign. It looks miles better than what the old design looked like. The old design, just to kind of sum it up, it was definitely way too realistic. I figured we can probably just go into some detail of exactly what I thought about the new trailer, about Sonic's new design, because just to compare it to the old design, we have to realize that although it is kind of crazy to think that they actually did redesign at least from what I think, they redesigned all the CGI cutscenes with Sonic, with the new Sonic design. But the majority of the movie is probably going to be the same. I don't really see them changing much of the script and all the other human scenes. I think we do see there might be a few, in some of the scenes that if you can compare the two trailers together, there's these two scenes where it's a James Marsden character, James Marsden, is that his name? Yeah, I think him and Sonic are in the car together, and it's supposed to be the same scene, but obviously with the new Sonic designs. But he actually is wearing different clothes. So I'm starting to think, did they reshoot that scene too? Did they reshoot a lot of the scenes in the movie? I'm not quite sure. So, to start right off, I do want to say that I really, really do like Sonic's new design. Just compared to the old one, comparing this, something like this, there's huge differences. And it kind of still blows my mind that Paramount Pictures, I can't believe that they truly thought that the original design was acceptable. And I don't even mean from their perspective. I mean and not even to the perspective of the fans, which obviously they were up in arms. But I mean just if you make any movie with any kind of an adaptation of an old character, do you really? It's one thing to take what that character is and just completely maul it, because that design doesn't even look. It didn't even look good. I was even from CGI perspective and trying to make something look real, in something like Avatar. That Sonic just looked ridiculous. It looked like what an actual anthropomorphic hedgehog would look like. That's blue and wears shoes, and it actually looks or even as horrible as the image is, the child of a human and a hedgehog is kind of what the old Sonic design looked like. That being said, the new Sonic design, I think, is great. It's definitely more cartoony. It looks a lot less real, but I think that's exactly what they needed, because when it comes to any of these kind of adaptations, you can't make something look too real, because then it just looks terrible. It just doesn't it goes completely into the uncanny valley where they try too hard with all these the realistic human qualities, and then you get something like the old school Sonic design where his limbs are too realistic and they're almost unproportionate. His head was massive, his eyes were too small, his mouth had human teeth. It's just not pleasant to look at. But the new design is great. I think because they went to the more cartoony look, it actually legit does look. It looks more like Sonic. It actually looks more like this little guy right here in the box. It looks like the character that we all know and love from the early 90s. So the new design also kind of shows that when you do this more stylized look, to not only make it match Sonic's actual character, his actual traits and characteristics, his look, it actually makes him more expressive, because now that he has his actual big eyes he should have, and it just makes him and even his mouth, because they went to the look, because they made it look more like the original Sonic, he actually has a lot more expressions on his face. With the old look, his eyes are too small, his mouth is so human-like. It didn't even look like he was making actual faces. When what's the actor, James Marsden, when he came in the one scene and was going to shoot Sonic with a tranq dart, and the old Sonic design screamed, and you saw him open his mouth with his human teeth and his small eyes. It just looked ridiculous. But then when you look at the newer trailer with the new Sonic design, Like there are obviously other differences in the way Sonic's just standing, like he's holding a ring in his hand, and it looks like beef jerky in his other hand. But you actually see him like he actually looks terrified. He actually, because his eyes can actually look like they're like they go into like that, like the frown look. They make look like his eyes are like, it makes him look like he's crying or he's afraid, he's scared. His mouth basically looks like he's like it just makes him look like he's like legitimately scared, as opposed to the old design. Also, I think just when it comes to Sonic like moving around in like in the new trailer, it just captures like just the way he moves around. It just captures his style. I can't even describe it, like because the older design looked almost like stiff. It was kind of like stiff. This one, because he's a cartoony with his cartoony limbs, it looks like, yeah, when Sonic like runs around and makes these like sharp turns and sharp cuts, it just makes it seem like it's more like actual Sonic, not like we're being forced to believe that this realistic human like Hedgehog can do all these things. Now, although I'm really happy with the new design of Sonic, I don't think it's perfect, but they definitely nailed it on the head as far as like what it should have been. But it kind of makes me think, like, you know what, like back to what I was saying, like how it's still not perfect, because imagine if we never had the old design, we never had this. But what if like however many months ago when the Sonic trailer came out initially, and we saw Sonic and it was this, I would think that although this obviously looks okay, I think initially people would still have a pretty negative. They would probably have negative opinions on it. They would probably still think that it looks terrible. They'll probably complain and say, "Oh, it looks too realistic," which is funny because compared to the old design that we know of, this is, you know, we think it's miles better. It's kind of interesting to think about that. Like, you know, what if we did get this new Sonic design and that was the old, and people were still like, you know, going crazy and like with their arms up in the air saying, "Nope, this is not my Sonic. It looks ridiculous. It looks terrible. This movie's gonna be terrible," despite the fact that we already know that the plot's pretty minimal and the movie as a whole is probably not going to be incredible. But even from like it being charming enough to like want to like, you know, pull in kids to watch it, and maybe like make people like in my generation, like the 90s kids and the 80s kids, like who grew up playing Sonic games or played Sonic games when they were little, like those who really do like Sonic, at least it'll like try to just pull us into want to see Sonic on the big screen interacting with humans, you know. But again, it's funny because you kind of like take like a risk when you make a movie like that. Like video game adaptations, or, you know, they don't really do very well. Like, I mean, and like not just the video game adaptations, but like when you try to make like a live action adaptation of a movie, like I think they have a pretty bad track record for just being terrible. I mean, the Mortal Kombat movie was like borderline okay. It was just entertaining, but whenever I like rewatch it, it's terrible. I mean, and not even the second. The second one's garbage, but I mean even just the first one, it's just. It can be sometimes painful to watch, even though it's kind of cool seeing the characters on the big screen, seeing them just, you know, being played by human actors. It makes it fun, but that doesn't mean it's gonna be good. And then I guess another good example is something like the Dragon Ball movie. Oh gosh, I still can't get over that. But now with Sonic, we're going with a cartoon character in a human world, and that's kind of like Space Jam. Now, Space Jam was a little bit different because they actually acknowledged that these are cartoon characters. Like in the world, like in this movie, Michael Jordan knew, like, yes, this is Bugs Bunny. Yes, this is Daffy Duck. I don't know what they're doing here in the real world, but that was kind of like the whole plot. Like they were being like worlds were colliding of like the human world and our world and the Looney Tune world. But that was basically the whole point of the movie. In this, it's just one specific character, Sonic, who happens to look really unusual, and he clearly comes from, you know, what we saw. He comes from a whole new world, whether that be Mobius or whatever the Green Hill Zone is located in. So we are, you know, and that's why the military's after him. That's why Dr. Robotnik's after him. That's why like James Marsden was scared when he first saw him, because this is like us. Looking at that hedgehog, it would blow our minds, saying like, you know, what the hell is this? It's not real, but whatever. But that's that. Now, when it comes to the actual story, I'm still a little up in the air because I'm a little concerned about like the power rings apparently. Because now, granted, like I'm happy that the rings are in the movie, and we kind of saw like in the old trailer how the rings could like warp people or teleport people to a different location. And at first I was a little weirded out by that, but then I remembered like no, that was in the old Sonic games. Like in the classic Sonic games, if you jumped into the giant like power ring, it would take you to like the bonus stages. So that's not really like anything new, and I'm kind of happy that they. So like that being said, I realized that I'm really happy they brought that into the movie where the. But now they keep mentioning like Sonic's power, and I don't know if they're referring to just the fact that he's super fast. But I think we saw like when he does run super fast, like he glows, and not like an after image when he runs really fast, but like he has like blue lightning coming off of him, and like. We saw in the old trailer, Dr. Robotnik, like, you know, like, got zapped when he tried to, like, taste Sonic's, like, fur. So, basically, that's a little weird. I'm not sure how they're gonna play that into it. Maybe they're gonna play, like, the power rings give him this power, and that's why he's super fast. He's not just, like, naturally a fast hedgehog, but I don't know, we'll see. I mean, again, like, you can't take a movie like this too seriously, and that's what I hope that they don't do. Like, I'm hoping that I'm hoping the movie's fun. I hope the story's fun. I hope that the adventure that Sonic and James Marsden goes on is fun. But overall, like you have to realize that despite the fact that they made this brand like the new design, and it's impressive that they actually made that much of an improvement. You have to realize that like the plot's probably going to be the same as it was initially, and if it was bad back then, it's probably going to be bad now. Now that doesn't mean I don't want to see the movie. I still want to see what they can do with it, because again, it's just especially. Like, some people actually brought up a really good point that it might have been, like, a marketing technique, as if, like there's no, even, despite the fact that we think all the higher-ups of Paramount, they didn't know what they were doing, they didn't know what they were talking about, and that's why Sonic looks so terrible, and they were just trying to you know, like, send out a really bad movie just to make some just to make it, like, a quick buck. And then, obviously, there was the horrible backlash of fans and everyone, like, fans and non-fans alike were just saying that this looks completely ridiculous. And then it makes you think, like, was that like a scheme to actually make people think that the movie is just so bad that, like, okay, fine, guys, we'll redo it and we'll redesign Sonic. And then when they did redesign Sonic, now everyone's happy because I mean, granted, it's not that hard to improve this because the old design was just that bad. But it's like now that they made these improvements and the design does look nice. Like, Sonic actually looks like himself. He looks cute and funny, and he looks like he's full character, full personality. It's Sonic, you know. And I wonder, like, did they do that just that way that the audience, the fan base, and the non-fans, just the people who see this new trailer, are then thinking like, oh wow, now I actually want to go see the movie. Now they're pulling me back in because they made such a big attempt to fix our Sonic. Now I'm going to go see the movie, and I do have a feeling that because. Maybe it's arbitrary, but I do think, especially with the fact that they had to redesign Sonic, and now people are so happy about his new design, or at least the majority are happy with his new design. I have a feeling that this movie is going to have a fairly good box office a turnout. I don't think it's going to be like Avengers or Avatar numbers, but I do think a lot of people are going to go see this movie just to critique it, because now that they've made the new Sonic design, people are going to go and see it for themselves, and then I'm sure you're going to hear that the story's bad, the acting's bad, the comedy's bad, like, who knows? I mean, I'm sure, like, there are critics out there that you can't please. Like, I mean, I saw, like, on Twitter, people were saying, oh, this Sonic doesn't look real enough. It's like, well, yeah, but that was the whole reason why he got redesigned, because he looked too real. He looked too scary. Like, it didn't look like Sonic, so it's like, you can't please anybody. So, you can't please everybody, excuse me. But that being said, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the movie. Again, I'm not the biggest Sonic fan in the world, but I am a big fan of, like, the classic Sonic. I love the old school Sonic games. I definitely think that it's very, like, nostalgic for me to see this movie and to see that they're actually doing, like, an okay job by bringing in the bad guy, bringing in Dr. Robotnik, bringing in a very, I guess at this point we'll say, an acceptable cartoon Sonic in the real world concept. And whether it's good or bad, we'll just have to see when it comes out. I think it comes out like in February, so we still have some time to speculate. But yeah, so that's just my little take on it. I wanted to kind of just make a quick video talking about my opinion on the Sonic movie. Let me know what you guys think, and If you guys do like Sonic, if you don't like Sonic, or if you do or don't like the new design, let me know. We'll talk about it. I'm trying to keep I don't want to get my hopes up, but I'm trying to be optimistic that I think this will actually be a pretty like fun movie, kind of like the Detective Pikachu movie. I'm sure a lot of people were skeptical about that one, but and then again, plot. The worst part about that movie was the plot. So it's like, yeah, as long as it's visually appealing and it's a fun movie and with like a fun story, it'll probably be worth the $20 to go see it up on the big screen or something. So I guess that's it for now, guys. Yeah, take it easy.